Welcome back. It's day 6 of the Middle East war, and unfortunately the flames of war have reached India's doorstep. The spotlight is on Iranian warship, which was invited by India for a joint naval exercise and then struck down by America off the coast of Sri Lanka on its way back. The big question here, is Trump trying to drag India into the war? At least 87 people have been reportedly killed, and a search is still on for the others who are missing. In fact, the Eastern Naval Command put out a post on 17th February saying Indian Navy welcomes IRIS Dena of the Iranian Navy on her arrival at Visakhapatnam, reflecting long-standing cultural links. Today, on her journey back to Iran, America's torpedo sent her to a silent death. This was confirmed by the U.S. Secretary of War. Listen in.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. Also, yesterday, the leader of the unit who attempted to assassinate President Trump has been hunted down and killed. Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh.
We also have a reaction coming in on the broadcast from Mohammad Fatali, the Iranian ambassador, who says that they are not in touch with the Indian side. A big statement coming in from the Iran envoy who says no talks with India on conflict, no negotiations or messages to India. Ask the Indian side about contact. Let me quickly go across to Colonel Ramachandran. Before that, in fact, let's listen in.
We have lost a great figure, our leader, our marja, and we can say that our father. And always His Eminence advised us, try your best to stand on the right side of history. I believe that His Eminence stood on the right side of history, and he's received his reward. We entered in the negotiation table. In spite of, we believe and we know and we are aware about their intention. But you know that they set a time. But before that, attack.
Let's go back to our guest, Colonel Ramachandran. Yes, international waters beyond India's maritime jurisdiction. A lot of questions there being asked about what India's response should have been as far as the Iran envoy is concerned. Denies any back-channel talks with India.
So, Swati, even as we speak, back-channel talks would definitely be on, not only between Iran and India, maybe Iran and Israel and US, but back-channel talks are never admitted to in the public domain. So they just happen and then you hear about them. Coming down to what happened, off the Indian Ocean, you see, the one viewpoint and the legal viewpoint is that, well, it didn't happen in Indian maritime waters. It is beyond our maritime boundaries, and therefore we shouldn't be bothered. I think that is a very, very facetious argument. Whatever has happened is too close for comfort, and we just can't sort of look the other way and willy-nilly. The war has come to our doorstep, or at least near our doorstep. So that is the first point. You see, the second point is this exercise in Vizag was attended by many 7 or 8 countries. America was also a part of the participants. They all knew that these ships are there. The third thing I want to say is that India and US have a collaboration on maritime domain awareness, on sound surveillance systems, SOSUs, and anti-submarine warfare in the Indian Ocean region. And so there is that much of joint collaboration also. So the Americans would be aware of the movements, on Indian waters, as also on South Asian waters. And the last point that I want to make on this is that not only these sensors they would have in our areas, they also have sensors operating from these islands which are there of the Indian Ocean. So I think America is fully aware. They know each and everything that is moving around. What happened to the Iranian ship was very, very unfortunate. I mean, they were literally sitting ducks, and somewhere I think their Iranian intelligence, they should have been a little more careful. They knew what was happening on their way back. So that is something, definitely it's a huge hit for them. So just to sum up what I said, I think it is too close for comfort. India cannot afford an ostrich attitude on this. They need to wake up and smell the explosives.
You know, you spoke about India-US relation, you spoke about maritime cooperation. I want to go across to Dr. George. Do you believe that US was trying to drag India into this?
Not at all. I believe that what happened with that frigate was a kind of misunderstanding or maybe a miscalculation, possibly because the Americans were assuming that this frigate is going to take part in the closure of the Hormuz Straits. So on its way, it was sank in international waters. I believe that this was not meant to involve India nor any other neighbors of India in this issue. However, I think that the US is not making a distinction between the IRGC Navy and the Iranian military navy. The bad guys are, of course, the IRGC Navy vessels. And this frigate, which was sank, was apparently a part of the Iranian naval unit, so that it shouldn't be a target by the U.S. Navy. So I don't know whether there will be a kind of a regret on this case. But one thing is sure, that the second frigate, which is sailing around, won't be sank. This is what I believe.
All right, gentlemen, do stay on with us. We also have a ground report lined up. This is an exclusive ground report from the heart of Tehran, where tensions remain high and ongoing strikes are escalating. Our team reports from Ground Zero with the latest visuals and updates from inside the Iranian capital.
Hi, I am Ali Musavi from Tehran, capital of Iran. Yeah, I am talking with you from the middle of the war from US and Israel against my country. After about 6 days of this war, we can talk. The people try to set itself with new situation. In these days, we had large attacks against a lot of targeted in Iran, in military bases, in police stations, and a lot of else places in around of Iran. The most of these attacks are in the west and in south and north of Iran. According to U.S. reports, more than 2,000 has been targeted right now, and until now, this action is continuing. Iran reaction is continuing also. From the beginning of this war, Iran tried to reaction against this war. Iran reaction, as said in before, includes Arab countries in the Persian Gulf and Israel and U.S. military station in Iraq, in Jordan, in every places that U.S. have a station. or military bases in everywhere. The people of Iran thinks this war will not stop easily. Actually, it will has effect on the future of the country as political, economy, and Middle East relationship, and also Iran and West relationship. We must wait to say what will be happen in upcoming days in the future. As U.S. says, the upcoming days will be more attacks against Iran, and as President Donald Trump said before 2 days, the upcoming days will be more hard.
All right, we have some breaking inputs coming in. Spain sends warship to protect Cyprus. That's the breaking input we're getting. And this is Spain's first military involvement, although it is in the area of defense. So Spain has sent military support to Cyprus in response to the attacks that it is receiving from Iran. Colonel Ramachandran, this is in the area of defense, but I believe Spain's first military involvement. There are bilateral ties between Spain and Cyprus. So military help, support to Cyprus arriving soon.
Yeah, so this is clearly a bilateral agreement where Spain has decided to help their friend Cyprus. Because just this morning we heard Pedro Sanchez of Spain saying that, look, in 2003 we made a mistake. We were told that we are going in to destroy weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We are not going to get fooled again. These are exactly his words, and they are strong words. Okay, so Spain would probably, these kind of bilateral actions they would do, and I don't see them immediately committing their military efforts towards the war in the Middle East. That's the first point that I want to make. And as far as that there was a issue, we were discussing this issue about it has happened close to India. I never said, and I don't even believe that this was done to involve India in the war, get India involved in the war. Right now, no. But there is a larger message at some point of time. If this war goes out of hand, and if, it does become if I use the word world war or something, then India can't be sitting idle doing nothing. So it is a wake-up call. That's all.
Right. Dr. George, is this just military support against Hezbollah drones, or is this also keeping in mind how tensions have escalated between Trump and Sanchez?
Well, I'm not impressed by the Spanish latest démarche on this regard. It's a kind of symbolic appearance, namely protecting the eastern part of the Middle East, especially Cyprus, who was attacked twice or three times, especially targeting the British air bases on this island. So what we are experiencing is some, interest of the European powers to show they are not indifferent on what's going on in this conflict, either protecting the Gulf Emirates or showing that they are trying to protect other countries who might be attacked and who don't have any internal or any anti-air capabilities, such as Cyprus. So this is the idea, to show a kind of coalition, but it's a very, very minor aspect of cooperation, which is, of course, less than what we experienced during the first Gulf War in 1991, in which like 64 states were taking part in the coalition against Iraq at that time.
Colonel Ramachandran, yes, it's in the area of defense, like we've discussed earlier, but it's still minor involvement. And Spain maintains that they don't believe in wars.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so look, 2 days back when this Iran attacked Cyprus, that itself was surprising because Cyprus is part of the EU. So you are actually now enlarging the war to, tell the EU that you guys are also not out of it. And willy-nilly, you will have to commit, you will also be involved in this war. Swati, it's, it's increasingly, it looks to me that these actions, they are desperate actions by Iran at this point of time to sort of upscale this war and get more and more people involved. This is the way it's going to pan out. Now, one thing is clear: to say that Israel and US put together are they are overwhelmingly better than the Iranian forces. I mean, it's stating the obvious. It's a no-brainer. But the fact is, if today you ask me, who is winning? Who's winning will depend on what the objective was. If your objective was to bring in a regime change by using external military force coupled with fueling internal unrest, clearly that has not happened. If your objective was to denuclearize Iran, we don't know because, there are people, IEA is saying that Iran doesn't have enriched uranium at all. But if your aim was to defang them and sort of degrade their fighting capability, then definitely they have succeeded. But